All right, all right. Good morning. Good morning to you. It's good to be back with you. We're elated and happy to be here. Yes we are. Yes we are. It's another great day the Lord has given to us. And you know what to do? You know to rejoice and be glad in it. Hey, some have gone on, so it's good for us to still be here.
That's right.
It's a day the Lord has given to us, and He wants us to rejoice and be glad in it. We have our favorite counselor here today, but before we start to talk about some things, I do want to share something with you from the Little Brown Book. It says, "Courage is contagious. When a brave man takes a stand, the spines of others are stiffened." Courage is contagious. When a brave man takes a stand, the spine of others are stiffened. And the backdrop scripture is coming from 1 Corinthians 16 and 13. Stand firm in the faith. Be men of courage. Be strong. All right. All right. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing good? I'm sure you smiling.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm doing well.
You got that natural look, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, all right. It looks good on you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. We kind of hit on courage last week, but courage is the complete opposite of fear. We established that on last week, but sometimes when you're in a hard situation, your heart is broken, how can you have courage in a situation like that? But we're going to get to our subject matter today. We're going to talk about burnout, cultural shift, and someone asked us to talk about the middle schoolers, what's going on with them. And also, if we have time, we will talk about the different types of personalities.
Okay.
Courage in the midst of you want to feel weak, you want to buckle.
Yeah. Courage does not mean, people have thought for a long time that courage means that you don't have any fear. But it's quite the opposite. What courage means that you stand firm and you follow through with whatever task is at hand while being afraid. You might be afraid, but courage is to do it when the odds are stacked against you or you're feeling fear on the inside. In other words, you're not letting fear and the odds dictate what you do. You're not letting the fear discourage you and cause you not to follow through on your dreams, on your goals, or what have you.
I heard Joyce Meyer said, "Do it afraid." Do it afraid.
She sure did. I remember when she did that particular sermon.
Yeah. So sometimes you got to have the courage to even do it afraid.
Yes. You have to do it while being afraid.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about burnout. What are the signs of burnout?
Now, burnout consists of anxiety. A lot of times when you're in the monotony of things, when you're doing things over and over again, and these things that you're engaged in have a tendency to pull on your mental or your psychological strength and your physical strength. Sometimes, especially when it's monotonous and you're doing it over and over again, you can become tired, fatigued, mentally, emotionally, as well as physically. And a lot of times the signs for me, the sign shows up as anxiety. I start dealing with insomnia, racing thoughts. I'm just physically exhausted to the point where I can feel the fatigue in my bones and in my muscles. And I know I can feel it coming when it's hard for me to wake up in the morning and I just have to drag myself out of bed. And, those are just a few signs of burnout. It can show up as sadness, or you might think you're in a depressed mood, or you start to have a brain fog, or you start to lose attention and focus. It's hard to concentrate on things. When you start having those type of symptoms, it's time for a break.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I always encourage people to take days off from work. Utilize your vacation. Utilize your paid time off. Also take a mental health day once a month, if you can, if you have the time at work. And sometimes money isn't everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to not be paid for 8 to 12 hours in a day, it's worth it to maintain your mental health.
Yeah, because sometimes you got the superheroes that things cannot go on without them.
Mm.
And some people just drive themselves constantly, but like you say, sometimes you just got to pull back and get some rest. What they say, R&R, rest and relaxation, some quiet time that you're not doing anything.
That's right. And it can also show up too as irritability. That's one of my signs. I start to feel irritable. I go through the anxiety and the insomnia. The fatigue has now settled into my muscles where I can't physically, it's like I can't lift my arms. I can't move my limbs. Everybody may have different signs of burnout creeping on, but once you learn your signs, know how to put some supports in place so that you don't burn all the way out.
And that's why it's good from time to time to take a vacation, see something different, experience something different.
Yes.
Have some time of silence, time to think. Sometimes you be going so fast, you don't even hardly have time to think. You're just, just doing stuff.
Exactly. Vacations are very important. Vacation is not just to have fun, but the reason for vacation is to help you refresh and replenish your soul, which is your thoughts, your feelings, and your will. It helps you to get in tune with yourself again. It helps you to refresh yourself. Vacation actually came from the word Sabbath, and Sabbath means what? Rest. It's very important. Just like your physical body needs rest, so does your mind. Your spirit needs rest. And when you keep going and going and going, and all of your mental space is taken up with issues, problems, things that you have to deal with at work, things that you have to deal with at home or out in the community, it can add up over a period of time and cause you to experience symptoms of burnout.
Well, you got some individuals that say, I never miss a day of work. I've been working on this job for 20 years. Never missed a day of work.
And I can never, ever, ever understand that. Because I can't make it past 3 months without having to take off a few days. Every 3 months, that's when I have to take off. So I can't understand how they can go 20 years without missing a day from work.
20 years. Something probably is being neglected in another area.
It has to be. It has to be.
Because sometimes we can pride ourselves on the wrong thing. Sometimes our families might not be getting the attention that they need with being at work all the time.
That's right. Could it be an issue that you may be running from at home that causes you to work and not miss a day from work? Because there is a thing called workaholism, where you're medicating yourself by being busy. You're medicating your issues and problems by working all of the time so that you don't have to think about the issues and problems that you need to deal with and apply resolution to. So
you usually think about your situation, that you try to stay busy to avoid thinking. Well, shouldn't you, sometimes you should try to think things through by taking out some time and getting quiet?
Yes. Because running from those problems certainly won't help you. The problem will become bigger and more compound over time. So the sooner you sit down and think about it and come up with a strategy or a plan to resolve it, the sooner the better.
And therefore, meditation is good too. Meditation is good for you in prayer. you take out that time to meditate in the prayer, sometimes we can avoid chaos on down the road because we took out some time to deal with some situations, to draw back on some things, to see how we could do things better in order to be more effective in what we're doing.
It's true.
It's kind of like a refreshing. And we all need that refreshing from time to time. Good morning to you all.
Morning.
So it's important not to get burned out and stressed out. Do you think burnout can hinders a person's health?
Yes, ma'am. It does. Burnout. The first thing burnout will do is affect your mental health first, and then it will attack your cardiovascular system because it increases your heart rate, which in turn increases your blood pressure, and so that puts you at risk for heart attack, stroke, and other issues, kidney failure, all of that. Burnout is very dangerous when you're going and going and going, and you're not taking the time to rest psychologically, emotionally, physically, or mentally.
I know of a situation where this person would work, and they had reached their retirement age. And just before they were about to start drawing their monies, they passed away.
I've heard of several situations like that.
That you don't get to enjoy the fruit of your labor. You know, enjoy some of your monies. Don't take it to the grave with you.
Exactly. You know, enjoy yourself. The Lord has given us the ability, as he said in Deuteronomy, to go out and get wealth. But he didn't mean for you never to enjoy it. He blesses us with those financial resources so that we can take better care of ourselves and our families.
And that takes balance. You have to balance.
Yes.
You know, it's not just all work and no play. I love going to the ocean. It looks like it just does something for me when I go to the ocean.
Me too.
I like to put my feet in the sand, and you know, they say that there are many nutrients that come from that ground that goes into your body. So it's actually healthy also when you can put your feet in the sand, the sulfur and different things that goes back into your bodies to make you more healthier.
That's right. It's something very common and relaxing to hear the sound of waves. I remember being in a hotel, and this hotel had about 20-something floors. And I remember my husband and I slept with the balcony door open for a couple of nights because the sound of the waves helped us to rest better. And
you do sleep better once you get out, like on the ocean. I have experienced that it like that deep sleep, peaceful sleep comes over you because you're resting.
Yes.
And relaxing.
That's part of your peace. You know, to refresh your mind so when you go back to your routine daily life, you'll be more equipped to deal with whatever comes. But if you are already under duress where you're burnt out, you can't take much more things coming your way on a daily basis. You know, and I'm speaking of things that you cannot control.
Right.
But when you're refreshed and you've relaxed and you've taken your Sabbath, meaning that you've rested, it's easier to deal with the things that may come in life from day to day.
And I've heard of situations where some have said that he worked himself to death. And you don't want to do that. Life is too precious. It's too beautiful. Take out some time to smell the roses.
I agree.
Take your family on a vacation. You know, that creates a great memory when you can take your family on a vacation. We did that when our children were smaller. We went down to Biloxi Beach. We had like a cabin near the beach. And they talk about that even to this day. We all went.
Wow. They had a ball, didn't they?
They had a ball. They were little at that time, but they still remember that.
because it was the togetherness and the family was there in love, loving on each other. Everybody was relaxing. People had forgot about their problems and issues and just rested.
Mm-hmm.
Rested.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Have some fun. It's important to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Have some fun. Sometimes you just can't be serious all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have some fun.
Yes.
Laughter does good like a medicine.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
According to the scriptures, a merry heart does good like a medicine. If you want to look that up, look into Proverbs 17:22.
Mm-hmm.
A merry heart.
Yes.
So on your personality type, would you say you are A type personality or what?
Yes, ma'am, I am. I am. Having type A personality is both a curse and a blessing. The blessing side is you get stuff done.
Uh-huh.
You don't need much, will I say, prompting to get stuff done. People with type A personalities are leaders.
Good morning.
They get things done. They are very, very self-sufficient. And they have excellent leadership skills.
Uh-huh.
But type B is more relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
More, okay, I'm gonna go with the flow. I'm gonna plan as I go. They're not very high strung, not very uptight, not easily rattled. Whereas type A is, because me being type A, I can get so anal about things that it works against me at times. I don't like for stuff to be inconsistent, and just like I don't like for stuff to interfere with my organized schedule from day to day.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord is working with me on that, because He used to send me to a tailspin. If I have my schedule set out for the day from 7:00 a.m. to 6 in the evening, I don't want nothing to come to interrupt that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I've been getting much better on rolling with the punches as they come. But when you type A personality, you need vacations.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, so you can regroup, relax, and collect your thoughts and collect yourself.
So would you say A type personalities are more easily to be stressful and get sick quicker?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So they have to learn how to relax too.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And type A's usually have to teach themselves on how to relax,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I do a lot of retreats for therapists, and I do a lot of seminars where they teach us as therapists to relax and remind us to take care of ourselves. Because type A personalities like mine, we're so goal oriented. For some reason, we have to remind ourselves to rest and relax.
Mm-hmm.
So what has been helping me is I've been, just like I schedule my appointments and sessions and my own doctor's appointments and outings with my family, I also make sure I schedule in regular days off.
Mm-hmm.
Like I recently stopped working on Fridays last year. That was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Mm-hmm.
So I can use that day to decompress, so that I can spend time and hang out with my family on Saturdays and Sundays.
Mm-hmm. I chose Mondays to have that long weekend,
Mm-hmm.
so I can be off on Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
Because you need some extra time. Most time your week will be fast paced, especially the weekend.
Yes.
You constantly going and doing stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's good to have some spare time to rest
Mm-hmm.
and relax and do something different.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Someone wanted us to talk about the children. Were you about to say something else?
I'm listening to you.
Someone wanted us to talk about the middle school children, that
Mm-hmm.
middle age group.
Okay.
What's going on with the middle age group? Are they just trying to find themselves, or?
Yes. When we look at middle school, that is usually between the ages of 11 and 13.
Mm-hmm.
And right in that developmental age gap, their thoughts are becoming way less abstract and more defined. And so they're starting to really figure out who they are. And during that time, remember, that's the time where puberty is beginning. Mm-hmm. Between the age of 11 and 13. And when they're entering pubescence, they're developing their identities. They're trying to figure out who they are in the world. who they're trying to figure out who they are to their loved ones, to their friends. And this is where their peer groups start to become more important to them than their relationships with parents, relationships with siblings and other family members. And so in this stage, this is usually where mental illness will attack, because they don't yet know who they are and what their purpose is in this world.
So how would parents begin to recognize mental illness? They're seeing this shift, this change, and a lot of times the games and different things are affecting our children. They say one of these games have adults behind it, connecting with the children.
Roblox,
and sometimes parents don't know that, and say they can even get your address and different things.
They sure can. And Roblox actually has a lawsuit out right now about that, because the children are thinking they're playing the online Roblox game with other children their age, but they're playing the game with an adult who is a sexual predator who's posing as a child. And children have been kidnapped, they've been hurt, they've been sexually abused. And so Roblox is in a lawsuit with the parents because Roblox did not secure it enough or put up enough what we call cyber security mechanisms to make sure this child is online with a child. See, they didn't put any way, they didn't create a way for the other person playing on the other end to be identified, truly identified as a child versus an adult. And so that's why they in a lawsuit.
And it's kind of a shame that children cannot be free to play, with each other. You got perverts,
yes,
trying to get in through a child. So parents need to be mindful to know what to watch for and look for on these particular games. That's why I think the parents need to have a lot of skills as far as the computer, know how some of these phones operates and things of that nature. You got some phones that you can know where your children are. It'll lead you to where they are if they ever get in danger or anything. So parents need to be in the know about these different things, because we got a lot of things going on. We're living in a high-tech society. The phone is changing quicker than we are.
That's right. That's right.
And are we keeping up with all these different changes?
Exactly. If our children have access to electronic devices and media devices, we need to have at least some basic skill level on how these devices work so that you can be in a better position to protect your loved one.
My daughter put some safeguards on her children phone that they could not go to certain things. She tried to keep them in a safe perimeter from getting exposed to a lot of other things. So there are some safeguards that you can put on certain phones that they cannot go to certain places on the phone.
And that's good. And you can do the same thing for your TV. Put those safeguards on there to protect the children from seeing and hearing things that could harm them.
Because it's just like almost like anything goes if we don't watch it. So how has the culture shifted? Back in the day, you would see a husband and wife, you wouldn't even see them in the bed together. But now you see porn right on your TV.
Yes. And it's getting to the point now you can't even watch a commercial about some light bread or a bag of chips without it having sexual undertones in it.
Why is that?
This world, the more that it ages, the more fallen it gets. This world is a fallen world, and it's getting worse by the day. People don't have any morals. A lot of people still don't know God. They don't have a relationship with God. And so anything goes. They don't have any limitations. They don't have any boundaries. And so they don't care how they live, what they expose themselves to, and what they expose other people to.
That's the depravity of man, that depraved nature. when did you see this shift from the Bible, of just do it in a way you want to do it? No respect for God.
In my life, I've only been on this earth just a little over 49 years.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that I saw the shift maybe around 2010.
Mm-hmm.
I observed and recognized the shift in 2010, and it's been getting horribly worse at a fast pace ever since. And definitely since the pandemic 5 years ago, it's worse. Anything, they show all kind of stuff on TV now that's completely inappropriate.
Mm-hmm. So if the world is getting worse, should the church step up and be getting more powerful, more better? Have we kind of just sit back?
I believe that, because I'll be honest with you, I don't see a whole lot of evangelism going on in the community. We go to church and we get in those four walls, we worship, we hear the sermon, and we go home. I don't see a lot of evangelism. It's just some people are living any kind of way because they have never ever in life been introduced to God. They don't know anything about it. And the people around them don't know anything about it. So if we don't introduce them to Jesus Christ, who is? It's like people don't want to do the real work of evangelism.
Because there is work in evangelism and getting out there in the hard places. I think we've gotten too comfortable behind the four walls that we don't want the hard places. We don't want to deal with it, or could be some element of fear there. And we should never be fearful. Never be fearful of the enemy. Moses' angel says, following the teaching. Wow, this is very powerful. Yeah, we got to do a better job, because I heard it said like this: if those that have the light don't shine the light, the world will get darker and darker. We got to get to a pivotal point, even in the church. It's good to hear it on television. It's good to hear it on radio. But are we really going out where the heart needs are?
I don't think we are. And I'm going to tell you, this is when it hit me that we aren't. I went to Barnes and Nobles up in Tupelo a couple of years ago, because a little girl that was coming to visit me expressed that she wanted to know Jesus Christ. And I went and I bought her a special type of Bible because she wanted to read. She had a thirst for it, but she wanted to understand it and get something from it. So I bought her an amplified version for teenagers. As I walked through the door, going to get that Bible, something said, "Look to the left." I couldn't believe it, and it made me mad too. There was a whole section in Barnes and Noble in Tupelo, Mississippi, on how to do witchcraft. It had the books of spells. I mean, the wall was probably from that front door into this studio room. And I'm like, so the devil done got this bold. Now he as the young people say, he playing right in your face now. He's not even, long time ago the devil would hide, but now he in your face. He's letting you see who he is. As dark as this world is, people would find the time to write that kind of garbage.
I was at a school library and I saw all kind of books, cartoon books, other kind of books. And I ain't seen not one book on a Christ-based book.
Really?
Not one. So that is really part of the problem. The reason the world is not getting better, because we don't want to include the Lord in places like that, and that's really where he needs to be with our children.
Yes.
Building that foundation the truth.
The truth.
Hearing the truth. Because if you can look at other people of how their lives have changed, you gotta know something happened there. Some truth or something happened to this individual because they're not the same person they used to be.
Exactly. And only the truth will bring about that change. Only the truth.
Only the truth. So, you have those that will kick against the truth. But you know what? It's hard to kick against the prick.
Yes, it is.
It's hard to kick against the prick.
Yes, it is.
Just kicking is in vain if you kick against the prick. And that prick is Jesus Christ.
That's right. That's right. This world is so lost. And almost, when you look into Revelation and you study the prophecies in Revelation, almost all of the prophecies have been fulfilled. And that stone that gonna fall from that wall in Jerusalem real soon. And that's gonna be the direct sign he may be back that very week when that happens.
Wow.
Christ may be back that very week. I know we don't know when, because the angels in heaven don't even know when he's coming back. But when that last stone falls from that wall in Jerusalem, we know it's about that time. Because this world is getting worse and worse. People are doing all kind of manner of sin. And most of the time it's coming from generational curses and untreated and undiagnosed mental illness too.
A lack of the truth.
And a lack of the truth.
It's the truth that sets us free.
That's right.
That's the truth will get the hump out individual's back.
Yes, it will.
It'll straighten you up.
Yes, it will.
Yes, it will.
Your belief in the truth.
Your belief in the truth. You gotta believe. Let me grab this call right here. WTWG. WTWG.
Good morning. How are you too?
We're doing well, Mr. Robert.
Good morning.
Good morning. Listen, I know we all differ from one another, and we as African Americans are different. If you don't believe me, look and see how many different churches. Our community is not big enough to have as many churches as we have. So because we have so many churches, that's how different we are. The only place we come together when our young children come together in the same schools. But the churches, and then our communities, we have to be the people in our community that our young children respect. So many of us, and when we're in our community, we don't pay attention to the poor children. We don't look at them. If there's somebody on our level of education or finance, those are our friends. We don't go as a people. I'm included. Most of us, I do. I'm a teacher. I do it because I was a poor person coming up. But those of us who have a little something, we don't go to the project where the old little kids are. Parents stop school in eighth grade like that. One parent taking care of that one on the welfare. So we don't do that. So we have a lot to do, as Mr. Lord said, in our churches. We ought to have African people the way we've been treated in slavery. We ought to have reading from textbooks, which the kids are going to have to use out in this. You can't read the Bible if you can't read textbooks. The Bible is something hard because the names are so difficult from the average names we see in the community. So a lot of things we need to do as adults. And if you're going to be as a people now, we're not, as I said, we're not all the same. We don't have the same religion. And that's why our greatest problem is if you're not my religion, you don't believe in my religion, then we can't communicate. But we should be all willing to communicate, to educate our children and the reading and writing and arithmetic, because if they can't do those, they cannot read the Bible. And there's a difference between calling words and reading. If they can't see what they're reading in their mind, they're not reading, they're just calling words. So we as a people, we have a lot of problems. And then we have a problem within ourselves, and then we have a problem with the system. We're not going to all change that. But that's just an observation from a male's point of view, which our points of view are oftentimes different from most female points of view. And I'll just make that observation. Thanks for allowing me to make it. You two have a great day, and I'll listen the rest of the way.
All right, then, Mr. Robert. Thank you. All right. Now, we do have our schools to teach our children. If parents take them to school, they can get an education, because Mr. Blackman said that in Africa, they have to pay to even go to public school.
They sure do.
And we have free public schools here.
Mm-hmm.
Get a free education.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's good to keep the children in school.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely true.
So we started out talking about the middle schoolers.
Mm-hmm.
Someone wanted us to address them, that they are trying to find themselves, but sometimes they can grow up too fast by having so much to deal with at home that the parents sometimes are out of place trying to work.
Yes.
And then the older child got to try to take on the responsibility, sometimes almost
Mm-hmm.
like a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them can grow up too fast. I think about Michael Jackson. You know, he got out there when he was really young, and he never really had an opportunity to enjoy his childhood.
Mm-mm.
Some say that's why he created Never Neverland.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what he did. Michael Jackson was put to work on a stage as an entertainer at the age of 5. You know, that's our little Jack's age. You know, our little Jack just turned 5 last week.
Wow.
5 years old, no childhood, no place to develop appropriately. His environment was never conducive for him to develop psychologically and emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he had the mental disorders that he had. You know, he had body dysmorphia, which is rooted in low self-esteem. And what happens is his feelings about himself of not being good enough, not being worthy, and having low self-esteem morphed how he saw himself when he looked in the mirror.
Mm-hmm. And that's why he kept getting those facial changes and different things.
Mm-hmm. Because he didn't like what he looked like. He wanted to look like what society would accept.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he changed his features from more Afrocentric features to more European values, or what you call physical values.
Mm-hmm. And even with that, sometimes you got beautiful young ladies. They're beautiful, and sometimes they're cutting themselves.
Yes.
Thinking that they're fat, too fat. And what you call that, bulimia, and what's that other one?
Nervosa, anorexia.
Anorexia. Yeah, anorexia. Trying to continuously lose weight, and they are already small.
Already small. And that is a nasty demon. I have been treating that disorder for many, many years. Bulimia and anorexia nervosa. Though one is where the person will not eat. They will not get enough of nutritional calories to sustain their brain and the rest of their physical functioning. Where bulimia is where the person will go on binges where they will eat and eat and eat. And then they will go and regurgitate it, throw it up, which can cause eruption of the esophagus. And also both disorders can lead to cardiac arrest and death.
What about some of the medications that some individuals are putting out there that cause others to lose weight?
Mm-hmm. Now, those medications, it depends on the person's genetics, number one. And it, your genetics determines your body chemistry. And your body chemistry determines how you process insulin and how your body regulates and processes its own hormones, which is why Ozempic might work for one person, but it may not work for the other person. The other person may have to use Wegovy or Mounjaro. But a lot of times they have to go through a trial test and see if the person functions or responds better to Ozempic, or maybe they respond better to Mounjaro or Wegovy. The purpose of it is to regulate your blood sugar and your insulin level so that you can maintain a healthy body weight. And it's also good for people who have struggled with diabetes for a long time, and even people who may not have diabetes but may have issues with weight gain, especially women, when they get closer to 50 and you're about to go into that menopausal stage in life. It's hard to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when you're eating right and you're exercising, and it takes all you got just to lose a single pound,
Mm-hmm.
you may need some extra help with that.
Mm-hmm.
But you still got to eat right and you still got to exercise. So what it does is it stops the appetite from functioning in a way where you're eating maybe 2 or 3 meals a day. You may eat 1 meal a day, but you have to add supplements, dietary supplements, so that you can still get the nutrition and the minerals that you need to be healthy.
Mm-hmm. Even with our middle school girls, some of them are trying to imitate the older girls.
Mm-hmm.
As far as weight control.
Mm-hmm.
I know a young lady, she wanted to be be a cheerleader.
Mm-hmm.
And she's been kind of, plump all of her life. And they got her the medication. I don't know which one it was.
Mm-hmm.
Now she very petite
Mm-hmm.
and almost afraid to eat anything.
Even with being on the medicine.
Right.
Okay.
Don't want to gain weight.
Okay. All right. So I wonder, did the healthcare provider explain to the parents, her and the parents, how that medication works? It's going to disrupt her appetite as is, but she has to eat because, see, your medicine is in your food.
Mm-hmm.
Pharmaceutical companies synthesize the same medicine and chemicals that we put into our bodies each day to be healthy. And so she's got to eat because that's where her medicine is. If she's not going to eat at least 1 to 2 square meals a day, she needs to take dietary supplements so that she doesn't have cellular breakdown, because that leads to tissue breakdown and that can lead to organ failure. Mm-hmm. So she's going to have to eat.
Mm-hmm. So even young girls have this sometimes low self-esteem where they try to build themselves up, and sometimes parents can let them grow up too fast, mm-hmm. dressing them like older women and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let them be a child while they're a child. Let them enjoy mm-hmm. their childhood, mm-hmm. and don't let them grow up too fast, because you might be, in body wise, you might be mature, but the mind is not mature yet.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I have seen 12-year-old girls with weave down to their backside, nails about 5 inches long, and eyelashes. I have a serious problem with that, because men, when they look at that, they see a woman. They can't really tell if she's a child, if she's completely developed. Mm-hmm. If she's fully developed, where she has hips, she has breasts, and a backside. Mm-hmm. When she has all of that extra stuff on, it's difficult for him to realize whether she's a woman or a child. And so parents that allow this may be setting their children up to be victims of predators.
I remember my parents used to say, stay a child as long as you can, mm-hmm. because you got plenty of time to grow up. And when you grow up, you're not going to want all these bills and different things that you have to take care of. Mm-hmm. So stay a child as long as you can and enjoy mm-hmm. your childhood.
That's right.
Parents ought to make sure that the children enjoy their childhood.
I agree.
Not have a lot of trauma and drama, and the children mm-hmm. watching all of this, and mm-hmm. it's affecting their development.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I feel that if the child doesn't have the personal assets to purchase all this extra stuff, the weave, the nails, and the eyelashes, if they're too young to have their own assets for that, then they're too young to be wearing that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Little girls need to look like girls, and boys need to look like boys.
Mm-hmm. And be able to give your children their identity. Mm-hmm. If you see your daughter acting like a boy, dressing like a boy, that might need to be investigated.
Yes. Where is that coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they denying their God-given or biological identities?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like that is the beginning of an identity crisis.
And what are some of the things that you can do when a person is going through an identity crisis? Because sometimes other people can try to tell you who you are.
That's right.
And if you don't know, you might fall for it.
Exactly. That means they can tell you who they want you to be as it benefits them.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you notice someone, a child having an identity crisis, sit down and have a talk with them and learn about this child, who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Ask them about their experiences, how they see themselves and how they see the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that opens the door to getting to the root cause of where that identity crisis is coming from. Has this child been through any sexual abuse? Have they been exposed to other adults who appear to be one way opposite of how they biologically enter this world?
Mm-hmm.
You know, talk to them about their environment, their friends, who they are around, who they've been exposed to. Having a conversation will let you get to the root
Mm-hmm.
of where that identity crisis started and why.
Mm-hmm. When a child is born with both sexes, with both sex, what you call it? Is that a morphodite?
It's a hermaphrodite.
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 So how do doctors deal with that?
Now, from what I understand, a lot of times when the child is born, the doctor has a conversation with the parents and they determine what sex they want the child to be. And now they're coming up with, technology has become so advanced medicinally. Now they can test to see what the hormone levels are, to see what the child has most of.
Mm-hmm.
And then make the decision of whether, okay, this is supposed to be a girl or this is supposed to be a boy. Mm-hmm. And then there have been some instances where that person grows up to be a full adult, and whatever biological personality takes over, that's the one they go with.
But we had this discussion earlier
Mm-hmm.
on one of our earlier shows. I don't think you was here that day.
Mm-hmm.
And the suggestion was wait till the child grows up and let them decide what sex they want to be. And I agree with doing it earlier,
Mm-hmm.
while they're small,
Mm-hmm.
having that sex identity verified,
Mm-hmm.
or taking away one.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
It depends on the situation. To me, it makes sense to resolve it when they are small, when they're babies.
Mm-hmm.
Or, to me, it just makes sense to do that so that the child can come into who they were meant to be earlier than to wait until, let's say, they become teenagers where they're now entering and experiencing puberty.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go through the struggle of figuring out what or who they're supposed to be.
And then you got sometimes your critics criticizing the child.
Yep.
Now, if that could have been fixed early on, they probably wouldn't have to go through that.
That's right. That's right. And when they're trying to figure out who they are, especially during the middle school age, because of the pull of society, the cultural shifts, and the different transgenders, and you have pansexual and bisexual, it could kind of become very confusing to the child.
Mm-hmm.
And it could tear them apart psychologically and emotionally to figure out who they are and who they're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense to save them from all of that trouble. And that decision needs to be made when they're young, very young.
So what causes this just genetic malfunction?
It's a gene and a cell mutation.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It's a gene and a cell mutation somewhere between chromosomes 1 and 15.
And then you just try to establish one sex.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of rare, but it does happen.
It does happen. It's very, very rare. I think it's like, what is it? 1 in 100,000, something like that.
Somewhere along there.
Mm-hmm. It's very rare, but it does happen. It's because of a genetic mutation between chromosomes 1 and 15.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's hit just a little bit on the personality types.
Okay.
Before we get ready to exit. It's about time for us almost to go.
Okay.
But just a personality type A.
Okay.
Then you got your extrovert and your introverts.
Okay.
Let's talk just a little bit about that.
Okay. All right. So as I explained earlier, type A is very high strung, very, very goal oriented. Is to be type A is both a blessing and a curse. Because the blessing is you get things done. Type A's make better leaders. They spearhead things. They take the initiative. They don't need much coaching and much prompting to do anything. But at the same time, type A's are known to get burnt out quickly. Mm-hmm. Type A's have a hard time relaxing because if they aren't doing, they usually have to be doing something in order to think.
So is that nervous energy or that's just part of their personality?
It can be both, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It can be nervous energy, and it could be that's just who they are. Mm-hmm. And with type B, they're more relaxed. You know, they kind of easygoing. They go with the flow. But sometimes they have issues with taking some initiative. Mm-hmm. And you kind of have to prod them along to get some things done. So just like type A is both a blessing and a curse, type B can be a blessing and a curse too. Mm-hmm. Type B's don't get rattled easily. They don't have many issues with irritability and anxiety. And when they do, it's usually triggered by an isolated incident or issue.
I can kind of identify with both a little bit.
Mm-hmm. You know, there have been times in my life where I wish I was type B. But you know, the Lord didn't make me like that because I come from a family full of type A's on both sides.
Wow.
My dad was more of a type B, but I know most of my personality is coming from my mom's side because all of them type A.
Mm-hmm. They're very outspoken.
Mm-hmm. And they get things done. And you know, my mama was a person, when she wanted something done, she wanted it done right then and there. She still like that, and I know I got that personality from her.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm. Your introvert and your extrovert. But you say the type A has that extrovert.
Now, type A, most type A's are introverts.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Most type A's are introverts.
That's interesting.
And most type B's are extroverts. Because type A people who are also introverted, we do more thinking than we do more talking. And we don't like our thoughts interrupted. Mm-hmm. So sometimes, you know, we get our fix of being around people for about 2 or 3 hours, but after 2 or 3 hours, we sick of them. we kind of slip off. You'll catch us slipping off to a corner, or we'll go outside. But we like our time to think in quietness, because that's when we usually plan and strategize.
I was thinking that a personality would actually be an extrovert. Mm-mm. Wow. Mm-mm. That's interesting.
Most of the time they're more on the introverted end, but B's on the extroverted end because they have a need to socialize and a need to be around people all the time. Frankly, get on my nerves. I want maybe 2 or 3 hours of socializing. I'm ready, you know.
You're ready to shut it down.
I'm ready to go on and do something else.
All right. Good morning, caller. WTWG.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Kenya, a question. Maybe both of you. One, how's Pastor Gavin? And second, Miss Kenya, do you believe in evolution?
It depends on what you mean when you say evolution. I do not particularly. Okay. If you're talking about evolution as opposed to Darwinism, I no, sir, I don't. I don't even pay it any attention.
Okay. Well, let me ask you believe that you believe that people were evoluted from somebody? You believe that they were made a person that person became this or?
Can you repeat that?
Okay. Do you believe that we were always in this status, or do you believe evolution has brought us to where we are? Well, the sperm is in the form of evolution because at first they said we was in form of that. But I just wondered about if you are in psychology. I just wondered if you believed in evolution.
Not in particular. It depends. Different people have different meanings of what they think evolution is.
Okay.
Now, I think certain aspects of biology and the human psyche can be influenced, and those influences can change certain things about us physically and psychologically. But if you're talking about monkeys growing into or evolving into full-blown humans later on, no, that's ain't no way. That's a crock, because genetically humans don't lose genes.
I want to interject this, Mr. Robert. The Bible says, and you might not like what the Bible says, that we were created.
What it says is written in the Bible. If you say it that way, then we can talk. It's written.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. The Bible.
It's not the same thing. Human wrote the Bible.
Hold on a second. What were you saying?
I was saying, God said we were created in His image and in His likeness. He didn't say anything about evolution, that we evolved. He said we were created in God's image and in His.
That was written. That was written. Because God didn't speak. So God doesn't speak in English, does He? Okay.
Yes, He can.
I know that was Pastor Gavin.
I haven't heard from him lately, but the last time I talked with his wife, she said he was doing good.
Oh, all right. You all have a great day, and thank you for allowing me to chime in or break in or whatever the case, or disrupt your thoughts.
All right then, Mr. Robert. You know, when it comes to truth, I just stick with what the Bible says. I can't go with all of these different theories because Darwinism, they said he was kind of off himself.
He was. He was. His thought processes were very disorganized and way out in left field that didn't make any sense.
And some people didn't even believe in him. So
because it doesn't make sense. You don't lose genes. Genes are passed down. Because if man really did come from apes or primates, humans would be producing monkeys. They wouldn't be having children. They'd be having monkeys, apes.
And the human has never changed in the form or character or likeness.
No.
So it's good to know the truth.
Yes.
Of who God said you were created. You didn't evolve. He said you were created out of the dust of the earth.
Yes. Yes. And biology and genealogy has proven time after time, you don't lose genes. They're passed down. And those genes are influenced by different things, which causes them to show up differently, but you don't lose genes. You have something that's called a haplogene, which is the original piece of DNA. And that original piece of DNA has been found today in 2025 in humans.
Because if that was the case, our color would change. Anything could change on us.
Exactly.
If we could evolve.
Exactly.
You know? All right, we're going to get ready to go. What would be your departing remarks before you leave?
My departing remarks is to make sure that you know the truth. Be careful of what you believe, because what you believe is what you're going to become. So always find out what the truth is. Become as knowledgeable and educated about things as you possibly can, so that your life can be blessed as a benefit to that.
And you're right. And do your research. Sometimes we're listening to a lot of old wives' tales or information that has been passed down, and we don't have any basis for it, that has not been proven to be true, but we're going off of hearsay. But when you do your research, dig and research, you will find the truth. And the truth is what sets us free.
Yes, the truth does set us free. The truth has set me free in so many different situations. Is unreal. It just amazes me how the truth has set me free with some things.
And you are so right. I could say the same thing, because a lot of things, when you don't know, people perish for the lack of knowledge. And when you don't have the knowledge, or when we don't have the knowledge that we need, the enemy will take advantage of us.
Yes. Yes. Because he moves and he operates through deception. He moves and operates through deception. So he loves when we don't know the truth. So he can lie to us and wreak havoc in our lives. And in that, when we don't know the truth, it opens the door to fear. It opens the door to all kinds of spirits that are not of God. And they can manifest into mental illness, in poor life quality, physical illness. And God and Jesus came so that we can have an abundant life, so that we can live on this earth in peace before he calls us to come home to be with him.
Right. And one last thought on that. If we don't know the truth, we actually are walking under mental slavery. We are slaves, being controlled by our thoughts and our lack of knowledge.
That's true. That's true.
All right. Thank you all for being there, Miss Laverne and Arnella, and each of you. We appreciate you, Diane, Janice, Prophetess Davis, Sister Shirley, Moses Angel, Gwendolyn. We appreciate all of you. Cannot see everybody. Dolores, Minister Cunningham. We thank God for you today. May you all, Shirley, Sister Susie, Audrey. We appreciate y'all. We don't see everybody, but thank God for each of you. Have a great day. We love you with the love of Jesus Christ.
See you Tuesday.
See you soon. Lord said the same. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Hey, Mom, get out of here. Head to the office.
Hope I didn't hold you too long.